Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to 5 skills to help locums in the optical industry adapt and thrive in 2022. My name is Stevie McIntyre, and I'm the marketing lead here at Locate a Locum. We help healthcare workers find temporary healthcare shifts, and we are within the optical industry. We are helping optometrists, CLOs, and dispensing opticians find temporary work through various organizations. So just as a bit of housekeeping before we go through the agenda, if you have any questions, just feel free to comment below the post on LinkedIn. Either we will get back to the questions live or post-webinar, we'll be able to jump in and either answer your questions online, or we can answer with a comment and provide you with resources or links to anything that you ask. So yeah, feel free to do that. We encourage as much participation as possible. It's always great to have engagement in these webinars, especially whenever you're on your own presenting them. So it feels like there's an audience and there's people to talk to. So what are we going to go through today? It's really exciting that so many people have signed up to the webinar. It's great to see so many people online live. So I'm going to cover who are Locate a Locum, what do we do, why do we want to help you. We're then going to look at finding work, and we've actually split this into 2 sections. So we look at finding work, and then we look at how to keep work. We also look at something that's always coming up as a question: how do you negotiate a fair rate? How do you get your worth? Then we're going to talk about something that was raised as a question last webinar. So it's about fitting contact lenses post-pandemic. And then we're going to talk a little bit about making sure your locum profile is as attractive to employers as possible. So offering more with qualifications. And if we have time, we will then jump on to a quick Q&A. But don't worry, even if you ask a question, we will get back to you with a comment back on the post. So without further ado, what I usually do is just to get things kicked off and get people comfortable with the commenting and the question system is I ask, what do you want to get out of this webinar? Is there something in particular you'd like me to cover? And what this allows us to do is it allows us to guide either this webinar or future webinars with what you actually want out of them. So if you have a couple of seconds, just put into the comments box what you would like us to cover in this webinar, and I will be happy to either steer the conversation that way or come back and plan another webinar so you're getting the most value as possible. So yeah, I can see a couple of comments coming in, so that's fantastic. Thank you very much for that. So we'll revisit these at the end of the webinar, so that's great. So who are Locate a Locum and what do we do? So it's our mission to mobilize the world's healthcare workforce, and we do it by getting the right person in the right place at the right time. Locate a Locum is an award-winning online platform that connects healthcare professionals with healthcare organizations across the UK. We're currently used by this figure is maybe slightly out of date. We're currently used by over 30,000 healthcare professionals and help 8,000 healthcare organizations. So we see ourselves as a technology platform that facilitates the booking of temporary healthcare shifts. So healthcare organizations upload the shifts using our platform, and the shifts then go live to our marketplace of healthcare professionals, and the healthcare professionals can apply for shifts and be booked in less than a minute. And that's sort of where we differentiate ourselves. You know, we're not a typical agency. We're a technology platform facilitating bookings. And we are one of the top rated apps in the UK with over 100 5-star reviews on the App Store and the Play Store. And we love to listen to our audiences. And we're going to talk about a few features within the app today that have been driven by people who've used the app in the past and have come out through user feedback. So that's always fantastic that people who use the app are actually driving the developments and the features. So this is just a little screenshot of what we do and how the app looks. So from left to right here, you can see that's what whenever you download the app, you get asked to sign up or log in. Once you've signed up and completed your profile, you'll have a locum profile. So as an optometrist, for example, you would have your picture, you'd have your qualifications, accreditations, you'd then be able to add in anything else you'd like to add in there. And then whenever you apply for shifts, you can track all your applications within the app. So you can see all your shifts you've applied for. the shifts you've been successful with, the shifts you've been booked with, and the shifts you've been unsuccessful with, and then anything that's been negotiated, which we're going to touch on. On the far right here, you can see this is how a shift looks. So if you found a shift on our platform that you were interested in, you could click into that shift and you can see all the details. For example, you can see the location, and there's a handy little map there to help you commute to the shift. You can see the date, the hourly rate, the times, the break times, the testing times, any accreditations that are necessary for the shifts, any certificates that you might need for the shifts, for example, glaucoma certificate. You can see pretty much everything about there, all the systems you use in store, so that they give you an opportunity sort of to make sure you have a knowledge of the systems. So yeah, it's really comprehensive what the shift detail page covers. So we can add anything in there. So if you were in a healthcare organization and you were wanting to post a shift, you can add the notes in there, the things that you want the locum or the optometrist or the CLO, the dispensing optician, to be aware of before taking on the shift. And then once you apply, that shift then goes, that application then goes straight to the employer. The employer can accept or decline your application. If they accept your application, you get a notification just saying that you've been accepted on the shift and when to start, and directions and things. And that will also be tracked within your diary within Located Locums app. So without further ado, we'll get started on the finding work side of things. So we said we were going to give you some tips on finding work. So first things first, really simple, complete your profile. So traditionally what would have happened in the past is you might have just had a business card or a CV, and you would have maybe sent that to an optician who would have just kept it in a drawer somewhere. And whenever they needed a locum, they would open the drawer and sifted through the multiple CVs or business cards they had. And if you were lucky, they might have liked the look of your CV or your business card, and they would have contacted you. But what you do now is you can complete a profile. So it's like your online CV. And this is, like I say, a place to manage your accreditations, qualifications, and skills. You can also add a photo in there. You can add notes in there. You can add anything that you think is applicable to your professional skills. And this obviously gives the employer a really good flavor of who you are and what you can provide, how much value you're going to bring to the store. Another thing is if you update your availability regularly. So that's number 2 on the list. So what I mean here is use Located Locum's diary feature within the desktop version of the app to book whenever, to put in whenever you're working shifts. And then share your availability with our team or the particular stores you want to work in, so they know when you're available. So whenever they have a vacancy, they can contact you through us or directly. Number 3 is, I suppose this is a little bit around keeping work. So make a good impression whenever you work a locum shift. Leave an invoice, make sure you know the systems inside out, and really just leave a lasting impression. So that one's pretty self-explanatory. Number 4 is download the Located Locum app. So what our app allows you to do is book shifts in under a minute. The reason this is important is it means it just takes away the admin time for you. You can book multiple shifts for the same day. Our technology means that you will never be double booked. So we hear this a lot. People say, oh, I applied for a shift and I was unsuccessful. So what do I do now? And what we say is, apply for 4 shifts on a particular day. It means that you have a greater chance of getting the shifts, and if you can't be double booked. So never worry about the potential to be in 2 places at once, because it's impossible to do that, obviously. So that sort of covered point 5 as well. Be registered with relevant systems. So some of the large multiples opticians, they will require you to be registered on separate systems. We have an internal compliance team. So once you sign up with Located Locum, our compliance team will guide you in which systems you need to be registered to work for particular organizations. So what I would say here is lean on our compliance team a little bit. If you sign up and use the app, lean on our guys to help you make sure you are registered in all the right places to get the shift. So whenever you apply, it's a case that your application is just going to be accepted or declined, rather than them coming back and say, yes, we'll accept, but you need to apply for the system. As well, this will allow you to apply for shifts that are only a short time in the future. So if you want to apply for a shift tomorrow, but you weren't registered to relevant systems, it might take some admin time. So when you sign up, register with all relevant systems. We have help guides on our website that allow you to do that. And then number 7, apply for shifts far in advance. So we have shifts right up until the September 2022 now. So apply for as many shifts far in advance. You can apply for blocks. You can apply for shifts right up until September. Maybe if you get your kids' school schedules, you might apply for shifts for days whenever they're in school and not when they're out of school. We hear that a lot. So yeah, there's plenty of shifts available, and they are far in advance. So in terms of finding work, that's how I'd suggest it. And this just gives you a little picture of what it looks like whenever you're searching for a shift. So our app and our desktop version comes equipped with multiple filters. So you can filter by job type, so optometrist, CLO, or dispensing optician, by date in advance, or by location. And then you can filter by distance within that location. So if you're in Greater London, you might want to work 50 miles radius of Greater London, and you can search for the shifts. And then you can also sort by rate, by location, and by multiple things, by organization, for example. And then what this allows you to do is also is to see the sort of rates in certain different regions that you could expect for working. And then we're going to move on to keeping work. So find what the shifts you want. So the reason we talk about keeping work is Locum is has features in it that allow you to be notified of shifts that you want to be notified for. So I've just touched on the filters there, but what you can also do is you see what you want by setting up notifications, and these notifications are similar to, for example, your Facebook profile. So you log in, you have notifications on the top right, and it's a little red dot, and it says, "Oh, you're going to want to see this because it's something you're interested in." Very similar to Locum app. So you log in to the Locum app, and any shifts that you set up as you want to be notified of, they will be under this notification setting. And you can be notified in multiple ways. You don't have to log into the app. You can get an SMS message, you can get an email, an in-app message, or a push notification. So you set the preferences of your notifications. And this is really important because you don't want to miss shifts that are perfect for you. So whenever you almost design your perfect shift whenever you sign up to the app, and then whenever you only see that type of shift. So maybe it's based on a certain rate or a certain location, or even a certain system or a certain organization. So I would say that is a really important thing, and it's often something that saves people a lot of time from sifting and searching through shifts. So by setting these notifications, forget about searching, forget about sifting. You're going to get notified first of all the applicable shifts to you. So this is probably always the most important one, or the most asked question. How do you negotiate? What are negotiation tips? A couple of things, just things that you might want to think about before negotiation. So know your own worth and what you bring to the business. So if you have really good qualifications and you do specific testing times, potentially you will have an idea of your worth. How much revenue you bring to the business, what value are you adding, and the more value you add, I suppose, the greater the rate you can negotiate. Point 2 here is know the average rate in your region. So how do you do that? It's difficult to know this, but with Locum, it's not really. So like I showed you before, you could search for a region and then bring the radius right down to 10 miles within that region. Look at some of the shifts, and they'll give you a good yardstick of what to negotiate at and what the top rate is that in a location, or the bottom rate, and then you'll have an idea. So make sure you're clear in advance on what you will and won't do. So what's this all about? I suppose what we're trying to say here is if the store has certain expectations, make sure you're clear on what you will do with regards to those expectations before you negotiate. And set a maximum number of appointments, and make sure your start and end time breaks are clear. So obviously that comes in as part of the negotiation. Potentially, if the notes aren't on the shifts, understand, is it a paid lunch? Is it not a paid lunch? Because that might reflect in your negotiation. If it's a paid lunch, you might negotiate less. If it's not, then you might negotiate a little bit more. And then get any terms in writing. And this is the thing that Locum helps with. Once you're booked on a shift for an agreed rate, that agreed rate is fixed against your profile, against the employer's profile, and again against your diary as well. So you can then go and look how much income you're going to get in a certain month, and you can reflect back on income you've been booked into a previous month as well. So I would say using technology takes away the gray area of this. So if you think in old traditional times, you might have negotiated a shift verbally, and then there might be some disagreement in the future of what the shift was actually negotiated for. Whereas technology completely takes the mystery out of this. Shift is booked, it's logged, it's there forever. So there's no disagreement on what is booked and when. So I'm gonna actually forward on and come back. So Located Locum, we had an NPS survey 2 years ago to our users, and one thing that came up is they would love the ability to negotiate shifts and shift rates via a mobile app. The reason for this is because often negotiating shifts is quite admin heavy. So you might have to phone Located Locum, for example, Located Locum, then phone the coordinator to try and negotiate a shift. The coordinator phoned Located Locum back, and Located Locum phoned you back. Whereas we decided, and what came from user feedback was that if you use the app to negotiate, they could be sent a notification of the proposed negotiation rate. They could either accept or decline that via a mobile app. And this kind of took away this telephone ping pong, as we call it, so the back and forward of telephone calls. So as you can see here from left to right, you would open a shift. You have all of the shift detail in there. You could either apply if you thought the shift rate was completely fair and reflected your skills, or you could negotiate the rate. And once you negotiate the rate, you have the ability to put in a proposed rate, and then you send that negotiation, and that goes along with your application to the shift coordinator. And they can either come back to you and propose a different rate, or they can accept you straight into that shift. So again, this just takes away the admin side of it, and it's pretty unique within the industry to have this feature. And like I say, it came from people who use the app, the users of the app. So this is a really fantastic feature, and we think it saves a lot of time, takes away the awkwardness as well about asking for more money, because people often don't like that. So this is just reflecting back on that. You'll have the opportunity to negotiate both shift rate via your mobile. So negotiate on your device that's in your pocket at all times. The great thing about this is whenever your shift's accepted, you get a notification through to your mobile app. So don't worry about sitting in front of a computer, phoning people. You could be working a different shift, and you could be getting a notification, and then know your schedule moving forward. Yeah, and negotiating a shift rate means you never miss out via mobile. There's direct communications to the coordinators, so they'll also have access via their app. So in a lot of occasions, this is instantaneous communication. Again, absolutely amazing to have this. No more phone calls, and you'll find out much quicker if the optician is willing to pay the rate you've requested. And the reason why that's important is because it's they'll often say it's not the not knowing, it's not the yes or no that is bad, it's the not knowing. So you'll know a lot quicker, and you could either book alternative work or book the day off if the negotiation's unsuccessful. So that's why negotiation via technology is so important. The next thing is just managing your diary and finances. So this is so important in the 21st century. And in 2022, you should be using technology to manage your diary and finances. And this will help you in multiple ways. So Located Locum, what we allow you to do is you have an integrated diary within the mobile app and desktop version. Any shifts that you're booked onto or apply to, they are automatically logged in your diary, and the value is logged as well of those shifts. In terms of the rate and the income you're going to make from those shifts. So this is really, really important. It means that you can manage your finances, track what's coming into your account, and also it allowed for tax purposes. It's excellent, so you can retrospectively go back in the previous months and see what income you should have made in those months, and then you can export that diary and then send it onto your account. And again, as well, like you often might find that you're chasing invoices from previous months. Again, this should show you exactly what you should have made, and it means that you can almost do your own internal audit. What's come into my account and what should I have made, and you'll have it all in one place. So this is how it looks. This is quite a grainy screenshot, but hopefully everyone can see here. I would love to earn £21,000 in a month, but this is just showing you as an example. So this is the January 21 diary. This is retrospectively looking back. You can see that you can either block in, you can put in your own shifts that you've maybe gone directly into our diary. So it'll also track the finances from those. And then the yellow shifts on the bottom right here are ones that have been booked through the platform. You can also see your applications here as well. So it's a great way to ensure that you're on top of your diary and you're on top of your finances. Yeah, I'm just wary of time. We're 20 minutes in already, and we've covered three areas. This is a really interesting one. This came up as a question last time, and we thought we'd dive into this a little bit today. So it's fairly obvious since the COVID-19 pandemic, there's been a change of behavior, just socially, going into healthcare organizations, there's a change of behavior. People don't like as close contact, and this is really backed up by optometrists. So 75% of optometrists have reported fitting less contact lenses than pre-pandemic, and there could potentially be many reasons for this. Number one, obviously less people are coming out in the public. Secondly, people might not like as close contact. And then whenever people are fitting contact lenses, people have said that lenses steam up whenever patients or the optometrists are wearing masks. And we tried to talk to other optometrists who are using our platform, and we asked them, what would you suggest as a solution to this? And the solution that came back was to teach patients to apply and remove lenses themselves. There was a couple other suggestions, like people suggested using surgical tape to tape the top of the mask to make sure the air didn't go up and out of the mask. But again, that's just awkward. So I think the important thing here is just to reflect on that there has been a change of behavior. So if you're seeing less contact lens fitting, it could just be that, and that's sort of the takeaway here. And hopefully we can come back with any questions here on this and try and help you with an optometrist's opinion. So if there's any questions on this, we'll get an optometrist who's using our platform, who we have a good relationship with, to come back and help answer any more of these. Again, we asked an optometrist using our platform, like, what's your top 5 tips for locum optometrists? And these were the things that came out. So number one, plan your day. Fairly obvious, but I think the feedback here was that if you're going for a shift and it's somewhere you haven't locum before, make sure you know the routes to get there. Make sure you know if there's parking. And it's all those small logistical things that are going to help you be less stressed and less worried about getting there. I think part of planning your day is knowing how to get there, knowing who you're going to be working with, and knowing testing times and things. Number two is bring equipment. So again, part of being organized for every eventuality. Even if you don't need your equipment in store, leave it in your car and leave it at reception or leave it under the service desk. And then number three, arriving at your shift. So introduce yourself to everyone in store. Make sure you get to know other staff members. And then again, this will help you keep work. So if you make a good impression and get on well with everyone, especially if it's a new store, so make the effort initially, and you will see a long-lasting relationship with staff members, and they will be more likely to want to book you again. Get comfortable with systems. Again, log into the practice systems and take a few minutes to get comfortable. You might not be able to do this on the day you locum. It might be very busy. You might come in and there might be a test booked first thing in the morning. What I would suggest is here at Located Locum, we have a help center, and it's complete. It's full up of helpful guides and tips to various systems. If you see on the shift notes when you're using Located Locum that you use a particular system that you're not 100% sure of, then contact us and we can either find you the guide, the manual or the guide, or we can direct you to the organization themselves. He'll give you some information to make sure you're as comfortable as possible. There's nothing worse than turning up somewhere and not being 100% sure on the system. It'll sort of just put you off on the wrong foot, and you might be a bit flustered. So we can help you with that. So if you're looking for an advance, you'll find that information in shift notes. And then the fifth one is offer more with qualifications and accreditations. So look at it like the qualifications and accreditations you have are you bringing value to that organization, and it might secure you more work. Like I suggested earlier, um, you might be able to perform more eye care services. For example, if you had a certificate in glaucoma, you might be able to specialize in that. And if a store particularly wanted someone with that skill set, you might be able to help there. And like I say, if there was a chance of long-term booking at good rates, then you might be able to book in there. So always sort of be upskilling, and as well as upskilling, make sure you log those qualifications on your profile, because this is a great way to keep track of qualifications. Also, it's a great way to show employers the different skill sets you have. So we just got the time there. So 25 minutes in, that leaves us just 2 or 3 minutes for questions. So if anyone's got any questions, they can put them into the comments box. I can see there's a few here from earlier. Um, yeah, so there's one here. So it's how do you get set up a located locum? Really easy. So we are on the app and Play Store. So if you search located locum, we should come up as a top rated app. You can sign up in a matter of minutes. What happens when you sign up is that you create a profile. There'll be certain essential documents that we'll need in order to approve your profile. So our compliance team will send you an email and tell you what those documents are. It's usually photographic ID, indemnity insurance, and enhanced police check. So once you have those three, and obviously your GOC number, and then once you have those, then it's a case of adding the supplementary information, for example, the qualifications and accreditations. And once you're approved by our team, so they'll give you the thumbs up when you're approved, and you will be able to apply for shifts, and those shifts will then go straight through to the organizations. So we have one of our guys, Sammy, in the team. He'll be your sort of contact in local locum. He's got a relationship with the organizations, and he's also got a relationship with locums, which are you. Yeah, so hopefully that answers the question. If it doesn't, come back to me. Another question here, do you have CLO shifts? Yet we have CLO, dispensing optician, and optometrist shifts, sort of in high demand at the minute. And yeah, they will be displayed on the app. So again, when you sign up, there'll be a drop down for your job type, and there should be a space for CLO, and that'll set you up as a CLO or a dispensing optician, for example. So hopefully, again, that answers the question. Just conscious of time here. So yeah, if there's any other questions, just fire them in when you're watching this. If you think of something after we go offline here, then comment under the video, and I'll get back to you, or I'll get Sammy, who's our optical expert, to get back to you. So yeah, with that, I'll kind of draw to a close, and thank you everyone for joining me today. It's been great to have so many people live in the webinar, and hopefully that was valuable. I know sometimes you're going over things that you guys might know, but hopefully it's just a reinforcement of things whenever you're locuming, things to look out for, the technology to use, because I think in this case, technology really is your friend, and it should be used in order to enhance or add value to your working life, and it shouldn't cause any issues. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions around technology, signing up for Located Locum, and what you need for specific organizations, then I am more than happy to help, and Sammy and our wider team are more than happy to help. So again, with that, I'll let everyone get on with their evening, and thank you very much for joining today. It was excellent. So much to cover, and if anyone's got any ideas of topics to cover in the future, just let us know, and we'll be happy to cover them. So thank you very much for your time, and have a great evening.